Welcome to the TSG Multimedia podcast for January 2019. We're sponsored in part this month by Podomatic and, of course, the TSG Train Crew on Patreon. Thank you very much. Happy New Year, everyone. I'm your host, John, and welcome to 2019. I have a few things to talk about this month, including some of my plans for this year. First off, I think it's fitting to talk about some of the things that happened in 2018. The opportunity I had this past year to meet new people and visit new places and experience new events has allowed me to more clearly define the goal of the channel. That goal is to promote the hobbies of railfanning and model railroading. And I'm finding more ways to do fun stuff with a lot of different people. The first highlight that comes to mind from this past year is just that, the inclusion of so many more different people in the programs. I've thoroughly enjoyed that, as it has opened up the door to all kinds of things I never would have learned about otherwise. That's pretty cool. The launch of the Model Railroading with Jack Burgess series was a significant improvement in the channel's programming, and one that I've learned a lot about model railroading from. One of the best things about working with Jack, besides the friendship that we've developed, is the fact that he knows so much about not just model railroading, but he's also a world-class historian and author as well. I think that's pretty cool. Model Railroading 101 enjoyed a cast of experts and very fresh topics as well. One of my favorite topics covered was JMRI. That and the episode about Digitrax versus NCE. There's a lot more to the hobby than I was ever exposed to before, and I'm glad I'm getting to share a much greater variety of things with you here. The Layout Tour series added some awesome programs on amazing layouts. That also allowed me to meet a lot more great modelers and operators in the process. Being able to document Jim Vale's Glenwood and Black Creek narrow gauge layout was a huge honor and privilege, as it was one of the best known layouts in the Bay Area. I'm happy to have been a part of preserving that layout in high definition, that is, for as long as YouTube stays on the internet. There were some great trips in 2018. Early in the year, I trekked out to the Placerville and Sacramento Valley Railroad with my top secret assistant and got to meet some really awesome folks there. Another trip was to Salt Lake City for the N-Scale Enthusiasts Convention with my friends Robin and John from the SBHRS. On that trip, I got to ride a long-distance Amtrak train, which is something I've never done before. I went to Utah, a state I'd never been to before, and also met some great guys there who have become friends and also contributors to the Facebook page, and one even became a member of the train crew. Thanks, Fabio. There were several epic trips with friends Gary, Mike, and Hunter, and of course my top secret foamer, most notably the trips to Ely and Promontory. The trip to Ely provided a great Chasing Trains episode, as well as the annual Steam special that came out last week. If you didn't get to see that program, you need to go watch it when you're done here. It's worth it, and I'm really proud of the way it turned out. I went to several events with friends, including a visit to the California State Railroad Museum. That's a place I'd never been to prior to last year. That was cool. Another highlight came when I tagged along with my friends Kevin and Curtis Hill to a Garden Railroad swap meet, and we ended up foaming in Niles Canyon and going to the South Bay Historical Railroad Society since Kevin and Curtis had never been there before. Since I didn't have one of my bigger cameras with me, I recorded everything I could that day on my iPhone. I'll talk more about that when I'm talking about the upcoming programs. So, if you've been watching, you know that I launched a Patreon presence in September. I'd like to invite you to become a patron there, what I've been calling the TSG Train Crew. One of my long-term goals is to get rid of the ads on the videos here, so you don't have to be bothered with skipping them or having your viewing time interrupted. The key to making that happen is finding revenue streams elsewhere. I figure if only a small percentage of the people who watch the programs on the channel can pitch in a small amount each month, it'll add up to enough that I can fund the activities that create the content for the channel. So if you like the programs on the channel, please consider joining. It's one way to do your part to ensure that it all continues. I know a lot of people pay way more for services like Netflix, and that's really what this channel is, but specifically for your hobby, and it's cheaper. So you can support my efforts here for as little as $2 a month. That's not much, but if enough people do it, that will enable me to do more and get even better equipment at some point. And in return, you also get credit on the program every month. Some of the higher levels of support also carry other benefits like TSG branded coffee mugs and t-shirts and that kind of thing. The Halloween event at the Fern Creek and Western in Santa Cruz was also a notable event from last year. I've never seen a mob like that. It was insane, the number of people who showed up on the street that night. And of course, hanging around with Trevor and Paul and Eric is always a good time. On a personal note, I enjoyed being able to volunteer more at various places to help with preservation work or events like the SBHRS, where we painted a kitchen and pressure washed the building and started a new branch line on the N-scale layout. I didn't get to help with the construction of the branch line yet, but I was able to get most of the track we need donated by Atlas. So I'm sure I speak for all of the N-scalers when I say thanks, Atlas. We really appreciate your kindness and generosity. I also volunteered at Ardenwood with my top secret volunteer for their Halloween train. That was also a great experience. So that brings us up to December, last month. It was pretty low key, but I did end up visiting with friends and had some really great holidays with the family and such. I had the Fern Creek and Western guys over for a live webcast on the 15th to talk about the importance of bringing young people into the hobby. It was really great because their story is one of the best examples I've ever heard of. Kids who were brought in by a mentor who went out of his way to make it happen. Eric and his friend Craig have been putting on an event at the Santa Cruz Museum of Art and History for the past several years. It's basically a big toy train demonstration that kids can run trains on. That's where they all met. And they did it again this year, and I went with my top secret foamer to check it out, and later that evening we met up with Kevin Hill and his top secret foamer to ride the Holiday Lights train that Roaring Camp puts on with the beach train every year down in Santa Cruz. Trevor was the conductor that night, so we rode with him and had a really great time. We met up with his parents afterwards and had some drinks and foamed from the balcony of a restaurant along the street where the train passes by. I made a video of that evening's events to share with you, so let's take a look. So I'm here with Eric Child. You may remember he was on the live webcast a couple weeks ago, and we're here at the Museum of Art and History in Santa Cruz. And when does this event end again, Eric?
It ends on January 6th, so there's still a couple of days to come down and say hello and watch the show, run some trains. We're having great fun. On our opening day, it was standing room only in the museum's atrium, which, as you can see, is pretty big. So come on down. If you have a train you'd like to run of your own, G gauge or O gauge or S gauge, we'll try and accommodate you. We've had several kids come down with their trains. It's just lots of fun, and we really enjoy it.
He'll see you down here.
Bye-bye. Hope to see you.
Okay, we're rolling down Chestnut Street, downtown Santa Cruz, by the way, is about 3 blocks to
There's foam coming off the train again.
Merry Christmas, friend. All these guys do is talk about train stuff all the time.
I don't know. And cider. Cider's good. Are we having fun, John?
Yeah.
All right.
Well, here's
Now I'm the eyes and ears for the engineer because the engine's on the front, and now we're shoving all the way back to the boardwalk. So I'm the eyes and ears for the engineer. I got a little air whistle here, and then I got a dump valve here, which dumps all the air on the train line in case, you know, something gets in my way. And I got a radio, so I'm giving him car counts and telling him how far he's clear and all that things of that sort. And we have to do 2 sections of street running shoving, which is a little bit interesting. Speaking of which, we're coming up to a crossing right now. 2600, we're down and clear at Fern Street. Keep them coming for another 10 cars. Holiday Lights Train honestly is one of the best events we do all year. I actually really enjoy working the Lights Train. Just seeing, I mean, it brings out a lot of the locals, and just seeing the kids light up when Santa comes through and seeing the train lit up, it's really a gratifying experience, actually. No problem. Nice thing is, right here they cut the track through the pavement to put the new ties in years and years ago at SP days. It happens that those lines there are the exact clearance points.
Oh, nice.
So when you go down the street, as long as you're on the other side of that line, you know they're clear.
Well, as we were going down this street some years ago, there is a cute little white gingerbread house with a gingerbread. Good.
2600 clear, 12 down the straightaway. Nope. A little bit before. That's good. Lights and gates at Pacific Avenue, 2600. Keep coming for another 6.
It even has flashing lights. It's like you're on stage or something.
Yeah, I know, right? The debut of Charter Park concert surfer singer. Oh!
What are you guys doing? Foaming?
Drinking. Beer and trains do mix.
A camera in one hand and a beer in the other. Merry Christmas!
And what do you know? Here comes a train.
It's the Trevor fan club.
Are we chasing trains?
I know. You're chasing beers. So I want to mention, like Eric said on the video, this is the last weekend for the toy train event at the museum in Santa Cruz. So head down today or tomorrow and take your kids with you so they can experience the thrill of running a train on a big layout. The best part of this event is watching the kids' little faces light up when they see the trains, and then they light up even more when they get to run them. I love it. The Museum of Art and History is at 705 Front Street in Santa Cruz, and there's plenty of convenient and also inexpensive parking nearby, as well as food. So, the last relevant event of the month was the production session for this month's layout tour. That layout tour comes out next week, and it's all about the California Central Model Railroad Club. This layout is an HO scale, and it even has a short line that's narrow gauge. It's pretty cool, and the guys there are really great. You won't want to miss that program. It's out next week. So that's the extent of what I've been up to since the last update in early December. I had a lot of fun bringing the programs to you, and I really hope that shows. I want to talk about what to expect this year, and the answer is more of the same. I have enough video from last year that I need to put together into programs for the channel that it should take us up through spring as far as things like chasing trains and railroading events. I'm also going to do more work on models while the days are still short. That way you can expect more episodes of John's Models. And I have plans to do some more how-to videos with Jason Hill from Owl Mountain Models this month. So that will also be coming up in the near future. One thing I'm going to do this year is not try so hard to stick to a set schedule. What I know at this point is that I'll always put out a podcast on the first Saturday of the month because that's how I keep you up to date about what's going on. The fourth Saturday will always be either Model Railroading 101 or Model Railroading with Jack Burgess. The second and third Saturdays of the month, as well as the fifth Saturday on months that actually have 5 Saturdays, are going to be what I've been calling wildcard slots. My plan is to fill as many second Saturdays with layout tours as I can, because people like layout tours a lot. Having 2 to 3 wildcard slots will allow me to try some different things too, and I will always let you know what's in the schedule as soon as I know. I've come to realize that it's very difficult to predict what's going to be popular and what won't be popular, and having more of these wildcard slots in the schedule allows for some experimentation. The most important thing is for you to always let me know what you like and what you don't like by putting comments in the comment section of the videos. I pay attention to all the feedback I get on the programs. The little thumbs up and thumbs down button help too. So here's what's on tap for this month. Next weekend, I mentioned this a second ago, so January 9th, it's the Cal Central HO Scale Layout Tour. I talked about this one a second ago, and you'll like it. It's really good, and the guys there were super cool. On Saturday, January 16th, we have Chasing Trains in Niles Canyon. I explained the origin of this special episode earlier. It started out as a quick trip to the Garden Scale swap meet one morning, and the next thing you know, we were out chasing trains. Let's just take a look at the trailer. We just went to the G-Scale swap meet, and I didn't know this, but we're out chasing trains now.
Yeah.
See, I told you you're a foamer.
Oh yeah, trains, I'll go. It's badass. Cadillac.
See, usually this F right here means front, but in this case, it means foam.
What are you doing?
I'm fixing trains. Every train that we see, we foam out the ears on it.
Hey, got my shot, man.
Okay, and finally on the 27th, it's our next episode of Model Railroading 101, in which we're going to explore using JMRI with NCE. The plan right now is to visit with my friend Murph, who has a box that's a custom portable DCC programming box with a computer interface and an NCE power cab. You might remember he showed us the box on the Model Railroading 101 episode that compared NCE with Digitrax. Since then, we've received quite a few requests from viewers who were intrigued by the box to show it in more detail. So we're going to combine that with the JMRI with NCE program. So, okay, then I think that's all I have for you this time. Here's to a great 2019, and here's to you, the best viewers on YouTube. Thanks for all your continued support. I'll see you next time.